hands together and welcome the author of The Death of Bonnie Munro, Mr. Nick Cave. And Bonnie Munro, Matt Smith.
Thank you. Hello.
Just a couple of people finally made it on the big screen, Nick.
We did.
He's on the big screen. Bonnie is on the big screen. Must feel nice.
Yeah, it felt really nice to watch it, actually. I haven't really seen it through in that way. So it was... You're good, man.
He spent a fair bit of time in bars for the show. Matt, I'll come to you in a second if you don't mind if I just take a minute with Nick to go back to the origins of...
Come on, man, it's Nick Cave. Let's
go. We are at the London Literature Festival, sir, and this journey for what we saw tonight anyway started with a book, but it did start before that. But I wonder if I can take you back to writing the book. What were the kind of the influences and inspired these characters in this story?
Well, I mean, basically, I'd written a script for a film called The Proposition, made by John Hillcoat, and this was a kind of success, and we realised I could do that, and so he came to me and asked me to write another script, and he said, I want you to write a script about a travelling salesman that has a near-death experience. Go away and do it. And so that was pretty much the information he gave me. They were John's two obsessions at the time, the world of the travelling salesman. So I wrote a film script, which no one wanted to make. This film, no one ever wants to make this film. It's a complete surprise, a complete miracle that it ever got made, but people keep trying and trying to make the film. Anyway, it didn't get made, so I decided I'd turn it into a novel, and it became a novel, and then people thought, oh, it's a novel, let's turn it into a film, and that never happened, and this various great luminaries of the film world tried to make it, and no one could. I think because no one was, I don't know, mad enough or whatever it is to play the central character. And eventually Clerkenwell took it up, and a really amazing first episode was written, and we were all sort of blown away by that. And then, I don't know, you joined, right? They got you, and you had this weird idea that to play a complex, kind of broken character might be interesting. And so here we are.
But what do you remember about writing the novel, in terms of, there's a difference between writing a screenplay and writing a...
Yeah, I wrote the novel on the tour bus with my band. So basically, Bonnie Munro, and a lot of the dialogue actually just comes out of being on a bus with like 8 men travelling around. So I didn't have to reach far.
Yeah.
On some level, 20 years ago, to find out the way. I wasn't like that, but I basically sat in the back of the bus writing this, and the band, who had no respect for the idea that I was trying to write a book at all, just threw pieces of bread at me. And anyway, that's how it got written, really.
And how's it been for you to kind of pass on control, so to speak? Pete Jackson's written the most incredible 6 episodes from your book, adapting that into for the screen in this kind of version. And I know you've been part of the process in writing the music with Warren, but how is that to kind of hand over a character that you've created and a world you've created to get someone else's interpretation of that?
Yeah, it was actually extremely easy in a way, because of this first episode. Pete wrote it in such a way we got it. I approached it with a certain amount of skepticism, because I've just been through this so many times with this character in this film, and it was just this beautifully written thing. It was written for TV, it's different from the book, which is extremely internal. It's just about where his mind's going when he's looking around at the world, and not a lot actually happens in the book. He just goes from one sort of tawdry event after another. But right from the beginning, Pete put in sort of stuff that propelled the story forward, like at the very end of the first episode, where the social workers turn up and they run away and hit the road. This is Pete, and this is stuff that's just... You can play around with dark ideas, but there's a sort of levity to it and a kind of fun and charm about the whole thing that keeps it sort of rocking along.
Yeah. Matt, how did it present itself to you? Were you sent a script, or how was the character introduced to you?
Well, I got an email, and it was one of those like inboxes where it's like Nick Cave, and I was like, Nick Cave? And then they're like, yeah, would you like to go for breakfast? What, with Nick Cave? It's like, fucking right I would, man, yeah.
Also,
I have to do that all the time.
And we had a couple of boiled eggs and some soldiers, and we talked about Bonnie Monroe. I was just thinking, I would do that all the time. I'm like, Nick Cave. And then I read Pete's script, and I just thought it was brilliant. You know, I thought it was totally original. He's such a great writer. I don't know if he's in the room. He probably is somewhere, but he's so brilliant.
He is.
Yes, actually, Pete's here, and there's quite a lot of your
Yeah.
wonderful crew in the room as well, and
Amazing.
cast. So should we give them a
Group
quick
of
round of
people,
applause for the wonderful team behind the show? So great to have so many of you here tonight.
Really lucky to work with people that really understand it. And you said that amazing.
Just to say, Pete is the devil.
Yeah, Pete is actually the devil.
Pete is actually the mad
what a
guy
mover.
running around.
In it, Isabella, honestly, no word of a lie, the director came up to me, she phoned me actually, she's like, so Matt, classic Isabella, so how would you feel about Pete, the writer, being the devil? And I was like, I don't know, but he's brilliant as the devil, isn't it? And
just take one look at him.
And it was, and also he's an amazing dancer, good writer and a good dancer. Yeah, he's a good dancer.
But anyway, going back to you, Matt.
Sorry, yeah, I digress.
Yeah, what reading that script, what were you kind of, I don't know, were you eager and kind of like, kind of hungry to get into with this character?
Wow, so much of it. I mean, I loved him. Look, I know he's a polarizing person, but I love Bunny, and I just thought, what a wonderful challenge and what a wonderful opportunity. Parts like this don't really come along that often, you know, and I was just, I think at its heart, it's a really beautiful story about a father and a son. And isn't Rafa, by the way, brilliant?
Oh, Rafa is amazing.
Do you know what I mean? Amazing.
What a find.
9 years old. And,
9?
9. He was 9 when we made that, yeah. Going on, you know, he's a bright boy. But yeah, he was 9 years old. Yeah, I was just really excited to be part of it.
Did you do spending time with him, or did you not? Because there's obviously that kind of slight distance between them as characters when we first, get to know that relationship. But that obviously kind of got on a great journey itself. But for you and Rafa to find that kind of rhythm with each other, did you spend time together?
Yeah. We were firm friends, I have to say. I mean, I spent every day with him, but he's absolutely fabulous company. I was outboxed and outfoxed by a 9-year-old every day. Honestly, I can't speak highly enough of Rafa, and actually his mum and dad are just totally amazing, because you've kind of got to cast the parents as well. You know, if you've got a great actor but the parents are real wallies, you're in trouble.
Not talking from experience.
You are. I've seen it. And you're like, God, he's great. Can you fuck off, please? And props to Shaheen Baig, the casting director. We saw like 400 kids. You know,
wow,
a lot of people.
And I guess part of that, having someone so young on set with regards to the kind of subject matter and where the story goes and the characters go, it's been incredibly protective of him and almost creating a bit of a bubble around him as well. And
Pete,
how you shot.
Pete had to write it in essentially two different scripts, because I would swear on my take, and then on his take I'd have to say flip and sugar, but I'd always forget. So I gave him a swear jar, cost me a fucking fortune. He did. Yeah.
Nick, I was interested to ask you how you think the characters, or if the character has evolved or changed from the way you initially wrote him to how you saw Pete write him to how you saw Matt portray him.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, in the book, Bunny is just this kind of disgusting guy. He's not attractive. He's not even good at sex. He's just this sort of failure that keeps just trying to screw everything he can, but and largely unsuccessful. And so, in a way, it wasn't as problematic, you could say, as as with Matt playing him, because Matt's like a sexy guy, you know, and so
Matt, Nick Cave just said that to you.
I know.
it's like he's a sort of living fire emoji. And but
Keep going. Look at the colour of his face. It's amazing.
My mother was in the room tonight, I'll have you know. It doesn't get any worse than that.
But the sort of the kind of the film in a way becomes more transgressive. This version that you're seeing now, because the women like him, you know, and even though he's, you know, obviously it's obvious, clear to everybody what he's up to, women nevertheless are attracted to the kind of pull of the sort of, the pull of his charm and so, and I think this adds another layer of kind of uneasiness to the whole thing, which, I like as much of that as possible.
The suitcase and the jacket. It's just these brilliant tools, kind of like his armor almost in a way. It's brilliant. The way it just kind of, it's like kind of extensions of his arms almost, one in each arm sort of thing. It's brilliant. It's kind of fun, that physical nature of the character as well. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of talk about how does the suitcase look? You know, what type of white suitcase? How does it look inside? There was a lot of chat about that sort of stuff.
Well, all those details are so important in terms of the world that we're taken into, and how Isabella has chosen to kind of show us and take us into that world. You know, all those kind of details about the case, about the hair and makeup and the costumes and all that kind of thing. So it's so crazy to think about something so recent, but it being a period piece, and it is really, because there's so much about that time that feeds so much about the story and the characters. That's kind of how you initially said it, isn't it? In that whole kind of, nothing's changed around that element of it.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
I believe as well that when I was reading about today, two things were kind of part of your thought process when you were writing the book, and that was the West Pier fire and Kylie's hot pants from Spinning Around video.
Yeah, I somehow conflated the two. I still do.
Who doesn't?
I still have, I mean, I still dream. I don't dream often, but when I do, it's about Kylie Minogue's hot pants.
but
Pull quote.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
There was something about. I was just listening to a lot of Kylie when I was writing this. She was played regularly on the tour bus. We all liked her, and so that's what, if you go and see early Bad Seeds gigs, mid-period Bad Seeds gigs, we've just been listening to a lot of Kylie Minogue.
Love that so much. I love it. But you think of you see that video of that song, and you immediately kind of takes you right back to that period, and that's kind of like they're almost like a kind of cultural emblem of that.
They actually exist in a.
Do you own them?
A museum? No, I don't own them. They exist in a museum in Australia. You can go, and I've actually touched them. You go there. No, I mean, you go to the Performing Arts Museum in Melbourne, and you go to this vault, and it's, hermetically, whatever it's called, sealed, and you put on white gloves, and you can touch them. You're not allowed to pick them up, but you can.
But you can touch.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've done that.
I believe you.
Several times.
I believe you. Being involved in going back to the music, because you and Warren writing the music for this, was that?
Well, Warren's here. Where are you, Warren?
Warren Ellis, everybody! Yes, there he is. Oh,
beautiful guy.
Wonderful.
Shy.
Was that a lovely opportunity to revisit the character and the story through music for this?
Oh, well, sorry, I got distracted
by Warren.
The fact that Warren's wearing extremely dark sunglasses, and I'm just wondering if he watched the film through those.
Writing the music for this and being able to revisit the characters and the world in a
I mean,
way.
look, the character, there's one thing to write characters, but to actually see them on the screen, and the sort of character actors that are used in this are unbelievable as far as I'm concerned. The women in particular, they're just extraordinary.
Yeah, Sarah Green as well as Libby is just absolutely so beautiful.
Yeah.
Such
Best.
a beautiful
Yeah.
performance, isn't it?
They just got true grit. It's like it's kind of like this thing is like British TV, which has this sort of realness about it. That I personally really love. I prefer British TV to a lot of American TV because of that, the excellence of the acting and the kind of realness of everybody. I find that an amazing aspect of the whole thing.
And did that influence what you wrote musically then, in terms of
What we did
part of the
musically?
score? Yeah.
But basically, I mean, Warren could tell you this too, but basically I think in the end we kind of left the song choices over to the people at Clerkenwell because they just do this sort of stuff so well in all the various ones that they've done. Their choice of music is, even though there's a lot of music that me and Warren would not personally put into a film, it's not like the kind of music we particularly listen to. I think what happens is that they're able to allow a whole lot of really fucked up stuff to happen, but it keeps sort of bouncing back to a kind of upbeat sort of indie pop song or something like that, and it keeps you just sort of jollying along. And this is the first 2 episodes. By episode 6, this is not a funny film at all. It just becomes darker and darker, but the music somehow buoys the whole thing up. So a lot of the music in the end that me and Warren did was very beautiful, melancholic, kind of heartfelt stuff in a way.
Matt, I just want to pick up on working with Sarah and this kind of, how she appears, not to give too much away with regards to her appearance in the future episodes that people will see, but that relationship is explored throughout the season of the show. And just wanted to talk a little bit about working with her and kind of finding that relationship between these two characters and the kind of the regret, and the different elements of that relationship that are there.
Well, I know Sarah. We're old Glastonbury friends, me and Sarah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I was always really convinced that it should be Sarah. And I'm really pleased that it sort of turned out that way. I love her. I think she's a wonderful actress and a wonderful person. And actually, to echo what Nick said, that goes across the board. I think what Shaheen did on this, I think we've cut, and the guys at Clerkenwell actually just have really good taste in actors, myself included. And
Nick Cave.
And Nick Cave, who's in it, yes. But I absolutely loved working with her. I think those scenes with Rafa, that scene on the bed, I just think, it's a really interesting tonal shift. I mean, like me and Nick were just saying just before we came on, those beats where you sort of land on Rafa are really gorgeous, I think, throughout the story, and indeed with Sarah, the same thing. So it was wonderful to work with her. We've
often talked about it, and we've been doing interviews talking about it's a kind of about a man coming, in the kind of chaos of grief.
Yeah,
but
in the tornado
of
it.
It's actually also about a child's, how a child handles something like that in this kind of, like stepping into puddles or something like that. It's like, there are these moments where you can really feel that he feels the absence of his mother, and other times where he's just a kid.
Yeah.
And this feels suddenly, watching it now, really, really true.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
There's a scene that I think was in the trailer that we just saw for the future episodes where he's in the car whilst you're out doing what you do.
Yes.
And he just goes, "Oh, Daddy."
Oh, Daddy, I know that gets me every time. Rafa.
There's the 2 words from this little guy.
Because he knows he's gone. He knows his dad's just left the building, An
amazing performance from that little guy. It's just so... Did you have the luxury of filming chronologically, just in terms of his sort of state of mind and his kind of...
No, not really. I don't think so. I mean, it was as chronologically as we could make it.
Yeah.
What was amazing about Rafa was he sort of had this... he's 9 years old, and he understands the emotional complexity of this really difficult story, but also he just had this natural aptitude to be an actor really well. You know, he could sort of access it really quickly and slot himself into it, and he understood the situations. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some, you know, we take him to a strip club where there's loads of drugs and naked women, and so we have to film all that stuff without him and then
Yeah.
slot him in.
But then for you as well, you know, in terms of the state of mind of this character,
Yeah.
of where you are, I've been able to kind of, you know, kind of navigate where he is in that kind of journey as well of you know, because it's a real trip for him as well. And
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky having Isabella, who's, you know, had such an amazing eye on the whole thing and would sort of steer me, and Pete and Ed and Emily and Petra, all of those guys were really on top of that with me. But yeah, it's but also it was fucking really exciting thing to make. It's so dark, but I had the most fun doing it. And I loved being in Brighton. I was by the sea every day. It's blinding.
you mentioned about Pete being on set not just as the devil, but having
Yeah.
him there to constantly, am I right in thinking he just referring back to the language of the book kind
Yes.
of all the time and pulling that through? Can you kind of talk to me a little bit
Yeah.
about what that was or how that worked?
Well, he's got, and listen, I've been on sets where having writers on set is not great. Pete, it was like just always keeping the story on the authentic path, and he gave me some, you know, sort of amazing notes throughout the experience, really. And you could just go, oh, you know what I mean? You could talk to him about the frame of mind and the state of being and the, you know, what's going on. He has such a sort of intrinsic knowledge. I think he did such a faithful, in a way, adaptation of the book. But as you say, Nick, he really moved it forward dramaturgically as well.
Nick, when you're thinking about what you're going to write next, you know, in terms of what form that's going to write, whether it's, you know, a novel, poetry, lyrics, you know, how does that work in terms of, do you know what you want to sit down and write? And I know that you kind of approach writing in a kind of, you know, in a regular kind of job sort of scenario, but do you know what you are aiming for?
Yeah.
Great.
No, I mean, I do know. You know, I basically, if I feel like I want to write a record, I make a date and I sit down and spend that time writing the record. And if I want to write a book, it's the same thing. It's not, I'm not doing all these things at the same time or thinking, oh, that'd be nice in a book and I just sit down and write project for project. I always have written like that, so.
And do any of those projects require research, or do you just kind of, or does it all kind of manifest itself from you and your imagination?
I got a huge amount, like John Hillcoat, who, you know, when he came up with the thing about the travelling salesman
Yeah.
and the near-death experience, like piles of stuff I was supposed to read, but I didn't read any of it because I just don't. I mean, it may have been better to have done, but I just like to sort of get on with it and let, you know, whatever it might be, let the gods, you know, tell the story and or the song or whatever it might be, really.
And you mentioned love and filming in Brighton, Matt. And do you think this could have been set anywhere else?
Me?
Both of you. Both of you.
I don't know anywhere. I live in Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, no, because
Right,
that,
you know.
well, because like Nick lived there, and I think, but weirdly, Brighton feels intrinsically now like such a character, but it sort of had to be Brighton, didn't it? That was where.
Well, for me, it's Brighton because all the
Yeah.
basically no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, sadly or beautifully, I don't know. There's a lot of depressing seaside towns in this lovely country, and maybe it could have been said in any of them, but I knew Brighton really well, and Brighton is a very, very beautiful place, and it's a weirdly happy place, but there is this sort of dark undertow to it as well. So
There's a truthfulness, though, isn't it? It's even though it's a dark undertone, it's kind of seeped in truth in the reality of people's lives, really, isn't it? A lot of it. That's kind of what you don't see on screen so much of it. Everything seems, a lot of things that we see are kind of through a slightly rosy filter, you know, in terms of they're toned down a bit, or it's just made easier for people to watch. And sometimes the things that are harder to watch, they're the more rewarding things in terms of, as an audience, they make us feel or think or question things that we wouldn't normally. And I wondered if that was something you set out to write as well, in terms of, a character, like you said, Matt, at the start, that polarizes people, in terms of trying to create something that does make people uncomfortable or think or question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just interested in that anyway. I'm just drawn to flawed characters, transgressive characters. I just think they're more interesting. They're certainly more interesting to write about, but they are the ones we should watch. They're the ones that we should pay attention to. On some level, they are the truth tellers. And I've always felt that way about these problematic characters. They're not the ones that we should push to the side and ignore or dispose of, but rather the ones we should pay attention to. There is some fundamental truth that operates, I think, in explicitly broken people.
Yeah.
It's at our peril if we don't pay attention to these people. And so that's how I wrote Bunny. The thing about Bunny Munro, which I understand perfectly well, was being a human being that was not in particularly showroom condition. I had my dark side, and I was navigating a whole lot of stuff that was very sort of, that was complex and just deeply problematic, and having to look after a child at the same time, and learning the way a parent can, of being able to sort of try at least to keep that part away from the child and keep the child buoyed up and happy. And this was the fundamental driving force between the relationship between the father and the son, which I understood clearly. So I feel in that respect it's very autobiographical, the thing. I don't have his particular predilection for,
Face creams.
Thank you. Thank you, that was beautifully done.
Nick Cave just said that.
But I do understand him very, very well.
Yeah. Matt, was it helpful? I mean, how much was Nick around in terms of being able to use him as a kind of soundboard for the character if you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to, he said very openly in that first meeting, call me anytime, But
You never did, though.
Well,
I was waiting.
No. Well, yeah, no. I didn't. I thought, he's Nick Cave. I'm going to leave him and let him be Nick Cave. But what Nick did very graciously and cleverly to all of us who made it up there, he gave us the latitude to sort of make it in.
I just fucked off and let you do.
Well, there you go. And that's good management.
Which was very much the best thing I could have done. And
yeah.
I was an executive producer, but literally all I did was get things sent to me and write back saying awesome, and sort of went on with the next thing.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
This thing kind of evolved.
I spoke to Pete earlier today, and he said that he got you replied to him saying, I've got a big note for you, and it was about the shoes, about Matt's shoes, and it was like, that's all he had to say about the script. It was like, wrong shoes for Matt, and it's like, that was brilliant.
Yeah, we just sorted them out, right?
Yeah, we did, man. It was true, and you were right.
Yeah. I had a day of, I'm in it at the end.
He's in it, yeah, which is cool.
And I had a day of...
there were lots of actors coming to watch Nick Cave.
Well, it was really, really enjoyable.
It was good, wasn't it? We
enjoy acting.
We had fun.
You don't enjoy acting?
No, I really don't. I'm just not very...
None of us do.
How was he as a scene partner?
Brilliant. Genuinely, I really loved that day. It was good. It's really surreal. Bunny Munro's meeting, there was like 3 layers going on. Do you know what I mean? Me meeting Nick, Bunny meeting Mick, Nick being there, Nick having a moustache again. It was just like there's loads of mad stuff. It was, but
I get to tell him a joke that hit the cutting room floor. And I was really sad. I was really sad to see that my joke.
Yeah. Do you want to share it with us?
Would you like to hear it?
I think they would. Yeah.
I say...
I come up and go.
Yeah, you come up and do whatever you do.
Yeah.
And then...
I do a bit of acting.
You do a bit of acting.
Yeah.
And then I say, did you hear about the junkie that injected an entire packet of curry powder?
No.
And you went, no.
No.
And I said, he's in a coma.
And they cut that.
Cut it.
And they cut it.
How rude.
They know where they are.
How rude. Another thing that people will see is you singing in future episode as well. Matt Smith, very beautiful as well.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't
Was
say.
Nick there on that day?
Yeah, he fucking was. Yeah. Nick Cave was amazing. And
Got a good voice.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's. Thank you.
Beautifully done.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, I mean, because Nick's character, Nick Cave, says to me, he goes, knock him dead. And actually, you were very kind that day as well, because it was tough. Also, you've got this, not only that, all these wonderful actresses that you've worked with are all there staring at you, but as a character, it's a really weird place to be for him. So it was an odd day, but it was fun.
What did you do much prep for this character? What was the kind of lead up to shooting?
Well, I mean, it's great when you have a book because you've got this like Bible, which is like without boring you, a lot of acting and all that I think is about working on like inner stuff, and so all that's there and it's done for you, and it was the usual sort of stuff really, and then wake up, do your best. Do you know what I mean? It's not ain't rocket science. Do you know what I mean? Like, do the work before, prepare, learn your lines, wake up, and have a right good go at it. And that's what I did.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
As we saw.
Yeah.
There's so much about the show that has this kind of aesthetic to it in terms of the colour and the sort of texture to it as well. And I wondered if that was something that was in Pete's script or whether that's a combination of Pete and Isabella in terms of how she chose to shoot it and capture the almost slightly sort of fantasy-ish kind of world of it.
I mean, it was all of them, really. I have to give great props to the people at Clerkenwell, Ed and Emily as well. But Isabella's sort of texture and tone and idea, I think it's fair to say, really, really, really led that charge. But obviously, Pete had constructed it all as well. But I think the palette of it and the feeling that you get is a lot of that was sort of led by Isabella and realised by the guys.
You say you loved Bunny.
I
love
do love
Bunny.
Bunny, yeah.
What do you love about him? Or what did you or do you love about him?
I think because I think there's a light in him that is sort of. I think there's great tragedy to him. I think there's deep sort of sadness in him. I kind of want to help him out. I think if he just made a few different choices, he may have been a good dad. I'd love to go down the pub with Bunny. I mean, people loathe Bunny. People really, 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 really struggle with him. And I was saying this to Nick, like. I've played like Charles Manson and Patrick Bateman, and people give them an easier ride. I'm like, guys, they're fucking serial killers. But maybe it's about the kind of exactly.
Wow, they really didn't like it.
Exactly. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe because it's about the kind of domesticity of it and him. But I don't know. I think he's flawed and problematic. But I think deep down he's he's a human being. He's trying his best, and I think you kind of have to love them when you play them. But you love him as well, Nick, don't you?
Don't point at me.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean I do. Yeah, I have a lot of affection for him.
Yeah.
I have a lot of affection, as I was saying before, for sort of broken people.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's malevolent. I think Charles Manson is a different kind of a character.
Yeah.
I think that there are malevolent forces in the world, and sometimes people inhabit that kind of malevolence where they wanted to wreak as much havoc on the world as possible. I don't think Bunny Munro is that.
No.
He's a disturbed, grieving, broken
addict. Yeah.
Yeah, and a human being. I hope that women can look at Bunny Munro and also see this thing that he is doing with trying to raise a child.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the whole thing's on steroids, but he is a person trying to raise a child with all of his own problems, and
Absolutely.
I think that's
The trauma of his own childhood.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just a male thing that we're watching. I think it's a human thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's,
Can I just say also, I think with Isabella's treatment, I think of the whole thing is really interesting because it doesn't ever attempt to pass judgment on what we're looking at, and it never becomes a kind of a critique of the male character or something like that. It's really that old school way of presenting like Taxi Driver or something like that, where you just you're presented with this character and you can make of him what you will, and that I think requires an enormous amount of courage for her to have done that, and I think she deserves a huge amount of credit for that.
Yeah, agreed.
absolutely. Is Isabella in the room tonight?
She is.
Isabella, please stand up and take a bow. Where are you? Where is she? Amazing. The just talking about that before we finish, the him dealing with his own trauma as a child, and in the way that actually Isabella's chosen to shoot some certain scenes, and the scene where he goes, which you guys will see in future episodes, where he goes to his father's house.
Yeah.
Wow.
With David. Oh,
Wow.
yeah,
That scene is extraordinary.
Yeah, and it sort of puts it all in place in a way, doesn't it?
So much makes sense after that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that like to film? Because you've got the
David
three
Thro-
generations of that family in the room.
Yeah. Well, I sort of fell in love with David as a person and an actor as well. He came tonight, and I just love him. But it was, I remember saying to Rafa on the day, watch him. It's really, really good. Watch him. And I think it's a really important part of the story, actually, because it is about the sins of the father in the way, and the kind of cyclical nature that those things are passed down. But I just loved it. I loved working with David.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful moment. Nick, what are you writing next?
What am I writing? A record.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually, weirdly enough, I hadn't thought of doing that, but you asked me that question. I just had to say something really quickly.
We're on now.
And now that I've said it,
You'll do it.
I'll do it.
I hope you write more books.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, will you?
I don't know. If you give me a theme.
Oh, we could pass around some note paper and get everyone to. That would be a great idea.
Well,
Not tonight, though.
that was the thing, I just got given, John Hillcoat told me what to write, essentially, about, just gave me enough to hang a story on. And
Yeah.
the story kind of writes itself. It's the idea. It's the same as songwriting, too. It's the idea that's the problem. To actually make the idea into something is kind of easy. It's just what to write about that can sort of inspire something in you, and that's actually that's quite difficult.
I think you might be getting an influx into that inbox of
into the red
ideas
hand
from-
file.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be more than
Anyone-
one a week replies required. Thank you both so much.
Thank
for
you,
being
Edith.
here.
It was a pleasure.
Congratulations, and particularly that we finally got this character on screen, Nick. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming
Thank you.
along.
Yeah,
Matt
thanks for
Smith
coming
and
in.
Nick Cave, everybody.